roguelites, all based off the old ancient game Rogue, really kind of do a great job of showing the greatness of what was in the old and marrying it with what was in the new. And Dead Cells is a roguelite that is a couple years old now, but does just that. There's no one I know who can rant better about Dead Cells than the big man, the Norbowski. So would you like to tell us a little bit about one of your favorite indie games from the last couple of years?
Now, Dead Cells decided something very smart. They're going to stick with tightness and controls. It's totally one of my favorite games. I've put about 600 plus hours into it. It's a platformer. What is a platformer at its core, right? It's your interaction with different enemies on top of different platforms as you jump up and down. Now, everyone knows for a good platformer, double tap down, you drop down, jump up, get a double jump with a double tap, your jump button, things like this. But getting that control right, where if you have the skill with the base sword, essentially, can make it through your first run, and there are people that do it.
Mm-hmm.
I am not one of them.
Neither am I. I still haven't completed a run, but I will agree. Like, Dead Cells really stood out to me and still does as one of the tightest controlling games of either 2D or 3D.
3D, yeah.
That I've played in ages. Like, it is stop on a dime tight.
Yeah.
I feel that the jump is a little clunky. Sorry, not the jump. The normal jump is fine. The arc and how it jumps and how high it goes and everything's fine. However, the double jump, the second height is so small compared to your first jump.
Yes, but wait until you unlock the ability to jump 5 times in a row.
Ah, I see.
Oh,
so that's a mutagen thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good lord, yeah, dude. And
that's one of the features. Part of it is not just that it's a platformer. It is a platformer action sword swinging game where you have a series of items. Some items are instant use over and over and over again, no problem, and some of them have cooldowns. So there's a point where I picked up a grenade, and you can throw a grenade at people and it will explode, but then it has like a 3 or 4 second cooldown. I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah. I roll with sword and shield so far. I
roll with sword and ice. Usually, or a bow. I actually really grew to love the bows. And Johnny, you talked me into actually learning the parry system with the shields.
Oh, absolutely, because the shield actually ends up becoming because you have to understand something. They've taken contemporary ideas of games, so now you have all these subsets of abilities that can modify each and every run, and there's always a reason to go back. Okay. Because there's always new subsections of abilities to unlock, things to do, and every run it makes it, your brain is getting rewarded each time for each run because you know what you're working towards. Mm-hmm. That's one of these action RPG hack and slash roguelites that have started popping up a lot in the last, I'd say, 5-6 years are really where I've been. Yeah. A lot of time of mine has been spent where I don't have a lot of time to sit around and play a long RPG anymore. I don't.
But you could throw down a couple of runs.
Yeah, I can do down a couple of
Go
runs.
back to doing whatever you have to do for your day.
Exactly, and I can just do that on the spot for like 40 minutes. Done. And your brain's rewarded. It's fun. You've upgraded something. Boom. And there's always these more things to upgrade.
Yep.
And you want to get good with every weapon. That's the point of the game. Once you've learned how to use all of those weapons, you won't care anymore what you find because you've mastered them. You know, okay. And then you start taking the runs as this, where it's like, I'm doing sword slinging.
I think the other thing that is important to note with roguelites, because we are going to be talking about a few, is the thing that actually puts in that twist, and what we mean when we keep on talking about runs for anyone who's listening to this podcast that might be unfamiliar with roguelites, is when you die, except for certain things, you pretty much start back at the beginning. You've lost pretty much everything, and you have to restart and redo everything again. And while that can sound annoying, the game, each roguelite is set up in a way that you do get to keep some things for each subsequent run.